Nana lived in a tiny village surrounded by lush green fields and kind-hearted neighbors. She was known for her cheerful smile and willingness to help anyone in need. But life wasn't easy for Nana. Her family was poor, and every day was a struggle to find enough food to eat. Despite this, she dreamed of a better future where she could live in a big house and wear beautiful clothes. One day, Nana met Bakery, a charming man who seemed to care deeply for her. He told her she deserved more in life and made her feel special. Nana believed his kind words, and they grew close. A few months later, Nana discovered she was pregnant. When she shared the news with Bakery, he vanished without a trace. Heartbroken and confused, Nana didn't know what to do. Her family couldn't afford another mouth to feed, and she felt utterly alone. Little did she know, this was just the beginning of a journey that would change her life forever. Desperate for guidance, Nana visited Mama Abia, the village midwife. Mama Abia was wise and kind, but her words left Nana stunned. "It's too late for an abortion," Mama Abia said gently. "But there's something else. Some people in the city are willing to pay for babies." Nana gasped. Sell her baby. The very idea felt wrong. But as Mama Abia explained, the money could provide for her family and bring them out of poverty. At first, Nana refused to even think about it. How could a mother sell her child? But as the days passed and her belly grew, so did her desperation. The thought of a life free from hunger and worry began to cloud her judgment. Finally, she agreed, her heart heavy with doubt but her mind consumed by the promise of a better future. The day Nana's baby girl was born was both beautiful and heartbreaking. The tiny child had bright eyes and a soft cry that tugged at Nana's heart. For a moment, she felt a rush of love so strong that she almost changed her mind. But the thought of the money waiting for her pushed the feelings aside. She handed the baby to a woman who came from the city, her hands trembling as the stranger placed a heavy bag of coins in her lap. As the woman left with the baby, Nana sat alone in the small hut, staring at the money. It felt both heavy and light in her hands. She had done what she thought was best, but a deep emptiness settled in her chest. That night, as she lay on her straw mat, she couldn't stop hearing the baby's soft cries in her mind. Nana told herself it was for the best. The money would change her life, she thought. She could finally help her family. But deep down, Nana felt a crack forming in her heart, one that no amount of money could ever fix. The coins Nana earned from selling her baby changed her life in ways she never imagined. She bought food for her family, repaired their tiny hut, and even purchased a few new clothes for herself. Her neighbors noticed the sudden change and began to whisper about her newfound fortune. At first, Nana felt a sense of pride. For once, she was not the poorest person in the village. But as the months passed, the money dwindled. The happiness it brought her family was temporary, and soon they were struggling again. Mama Abia, noticing Nana's unease, visited her one evening. "Nana," she said cautiously, "remember, money can solve problems, but it cannot heal the heart." Nana nodded, but her mind was already racing. What if she could sell another baby? The thought made her stomach churn, but it also excited her. This time, she could ask for even more money. Determined to escape poverty for good, Nana made up her mind. She would do it again. With each passing day, her focus shifted more toward the promise of wealth and less on the weight of her decisions. Little did she know, the path she was choosing would come with consequences she could never foresee. Months later, Nana found herself pregnant again. This time, she felt no hesitation. The process had become clear in her mind. Once the baby was born, she would find another buyer and secure even more money. Nana justified her decision by reminding herself of how much better her family's life had become. They now had enough to eat, a roof that didn't leak, and even a few luxuries they had never dreamed of before. Mama Abia watched Nana with a growing sense of worry. "Nana, this isn't right," she warned one evening. "Babies are not things to be sold. You're playing with fire, and it will burn you someday." Nana brushed off the warnings, convinced she was finally in control of her life. The thrill of the money outweighed any guilt she might have felt. With each new baby she sold, Nana's wealth grew. She began to imagine a future far away from the village, in the bustling city of Baiko, where she could live in luxury. But her actions were not without consequences. The villagers started to notice a pattern. Whispers about Nana's frequent pregnancies and sudden wealth began to spread. Though no one dared confront her, the sense of unease around her grew. Nana, blinded by her ambition, failed to see the storm that was brewing. Her actions were setting the stage for a reckoning that would change her life in ways she could never predict. The whispers in the village grew louder as Nana's wealth became impossible to ignore. Her once simple hut was now decorated with fine furniture, and she wore clothes made from expensive fabrics. Neighbors who used to admire her cheerful spirit began to avoid her. They exchanged glances when she walked by, their eyes filled with questions they were too afraid to ask. One afternoon, Mama Abia confronted Nana once more. "The villagers are starting to wonder, Nana," she said, her voice heavy with concern. "How long can you keep this up? The truth always comes out." Nana shrugged off the warning, her confidence bolstered by the life she was building. "They can wonder all they like," she replied. "I'm giving my family a future they never had." But the weight of the villagers' suspicion began to press on Nana. Children stopped playing near her home, and the once friendly greetings she received turned into cold stares. Her family, though grateful for the wealth, started to ask questions as well. "Where is all this money coming from?" her younger brother asked one evening. Nana avoided his gaze and mumbled an excuse, but she knew the lies would only work for so long. Deep down, a part of her longed for the simpler days when she was poor but surrounded by genuine kindness. Yet her ambition pushed those feelings aside. She was determined to move to Baiko village and leave the whispers behind. But the more she tried to outrun her choices, the closer they seemed to follow, like a shadow she couldn't escape. Nana's life seemed to spiral into a world of opulence, yet a growing darkness shadowed her every step. Despite the wealth, her soul felt empty. The money that once promised freedom and happiness had become a prison of its own. One night, as she lay in her bed staring at the ceiling, she realized she no longer recognized the woman staring back at her in the mirror. She had transformed from a hopeful, kind-hearted girl to someone driven by greed and guilt. The weight of her actions pressed on her chest like a heavy stone. That night, as she lay awake, the cries of her abandoned children echoed in her mind. She was haunted by the faces of the babies she had sold, their innocent eyes now lost forever in the city, far from the loving arms of a mother. Nana wept, not for herself, but for the children she had forsaken. She wanted to change, but the path to redemption seemed impossibly distant. Just when Nana thought she was beyond redemption, a surprise visitor arrived at her doorstep. It was Amina, a young woman who had grown up in the village with Nana. Amina had left to seek better opportunities in the city but had returned after hearing rumors about Nana's life. "You've changed, Nana," Amina said quietly, sitting across from her. "I remember when we were children, you were full of dreams. What happened?" Nana looked at Amina, her heart filled with both shame and regret. "I thought I was helping my family. I thought the money would solve everything." Amina sighed, her gaze gentle yet firm. "Money can't heal a broken heart, Nana. You've sacrificed so much. You can't keep running from your choices. You need to face what you've done." Nana's mind raced. Could she truly change? Could she undo the damage she had caused? The weight of Amina's words lingered in Nana's heart as she spent the following days in deep reflection. Her family had everything they needed, yet Nana felt as though she had lost her soul. She could no longer ignore the truth. Her past actions were slowly suffocating her, and no amount of wealth could fill the void she had created. One morning, Nana decided to visit Mama Abia. The old midwife had been a constant source of wisdom and love, and Nana hoped she could find some answers. When Mama Abia saw her, she knew immediately that something had changed in Nana. "You've come to see me with questions, haven't you?" Mama Abia asked softly. Nana nodded, her voice breaking. "I've made terrible choices, Mama. I've hurt so many people, including myself. Is there a way back?" Mama Abia smiled gently, her wrinkled hands reaching for Nana's. "It's never too late, child. The first step is accepting what you've done. The second is making amends, no matter how difficult. Only then can you find peace." Nana made the painful decision to return to the city where she had sold her children. The journey was long, but she knew she had to face her past. When she arrived, she searched tirelessly for the woman who had taken her babies. After days of wandering, she finally found her in a small apartment on the outskirts of the city. The woman, surprised to see Nana, sat in silence as she explained her reason for coming. "I need to know where my children are," Nana pleaded. "I can't live with myself knowing they're out there, and I've done nothing to try and find them." The woman, moved by Nana's sincerity, agreed to help. "They are well cared for, Nana. But if you want to make things right, you must prove to them that you've changed." Nana left that day with the hope that her children might one day know the truth, that their mother had not forgotten them. Nana's return to the village was met with mixed reactions. Some people welcomed her with open arms, while others turned their backs. Yet, despite the cold shoulders and whispered words, Nana held her head high. She knew she could never undo her past, but she was determined to build a better future. One evening, Nana gathered the villagers together in the heart of the village. She stood before them, her voice trembling but steady. "I've made mistakes," she said. "I've hurt you all with my greed. I sold my children, thinking it would bring me happiness, but all it did was create emptiness. I am sorry. I ask for your forgiveness, not because I deserve it, but because I want to be the person I used to be, the person you all knew and loved." Her words were met with silence, but over time, the villagers began to see the change in Nana. They saw the genuine remorse in her eyes and the effort she was making to rebuild her life. The road to healing was long and difficult, but Nana was determined. She spent her days working with Mama Abia, learning the true meaning of helping others without expecting anything in return. Nana also reached out to the families of the children she had sold, offering them assistance in whatever way she could. Slowly, she began to rebuild the trust she had lost. She worked tirelessly to repay her debts, both to the village and to her own heart. But the healing process was far from easy, and there were moments when Nana doubted herself. One day, as Nana sat beside the river, Mama Abia joined her. "You've come so far, Nana," she said with a proud smile. "Remember, it's not the mistakes we make that define us, but the choices we make afterward." Years passed, and Nana's life began to settle into a new rhythm. She no longer sought wealth, but instead found fulfillment in helping those who had once been in her shoes. Then, one day, a young woman arrived at Nana's door. "I'm your daughter," she said, her eyes filled with hope and longing. "I've come to find you." Nana's heart swelled with emotion as she embraced the young woman. It was a reunion she had never thought possible. "My child," Nana whispered, tears streaming down her face. "I've missed you more than words can say." The young woman smiled softly. "I know, Mama. I've always known you loved me." In that moment, Nana realized that redemption wasn't about undoing the past, it was about building a future that honored the mistakes she had made and the love she still had to give. Nana's family grew stronger with each passing year. Her children, once lost, found their way back to her, and the love they shared healed the wounds of the past. Nana's heart, once broken, was now full. She had learned the hard way that true wealth came not from money, but from the love and forgiveness that bound them all together. As she sat in the village square with her children, watching the sunset, Nana smiled. The life she had once dreamed of was no longer a distant fantasy. It was a reality, built on the foundation of second chances, love, and the courage to face the truth. Nana's story became a legend in the village, passed down from generation to generation. Her transformation from a woman driven by greed to a mother guided by love inspired many. She became a beacon of hope for those struggling to find their way, proving that no matter how far one falls, redemption is always possible. As Nana grew older, she took on the role of a mentor, teaching the younger generations the importance of kindness, honesty, and the power of forgiveness. She knew that her legacy would live on in the hearts of those she had helped, and that was enough. On her deathbed, Nana was surrounded by her children and grandchildren. They held her hands, grateful for the love and wisdom she had shared with them throughout her life. "You've taught us everything we need to know, Mama," her daughter whispered. "Your journey has made us stronger." Nana smiled faintly. "The greatest lesson I learned," she said softly, "is that it's never too late to change. No matter what mistakes you've made, there's always a way to make things right." And with those final words, Nana closed her eyes, content in the knowledge that she had lived a life full of love, redemption, and forgiveness. Her legacy would live on, a testament to the power of second chances. After Nana's passing, the village was left in mourning, but her legacy lived on in the hearts of those she had touched. The children she had raised, the villagers she had helped, and the families she had impacted all carried her lessons forward. Nana's story became a symbol of transformation, a reminder that even the darkest past could give birth to a brighter future. Her children, now adults, decided to build a community center in her honor. They wanted to provide a place where people could find support, education, and a sense of belonging, just as Nana had done for them. The center became a beacon of hope for the entire village, a place where the teachings of kindness, compassion, and redemption were passed down to the next generation. Years passed, and the village flourished. The community center became a hub for learning, with people from nearby villages coming to seek guidance and help. Nana's children continued her work, teaching the younger generations the importance of making amends, showing empathy, and understanding the power of second chances. As the village grew, so did Nana's influence. Her story was told in schools, during festivals, and in quiet conversations around the fire. It wasn't just the people she had helped directly who remembered her, it was everyone who had heard her tale. The values she instilled became the backbone of the village's identity. Nana's grandchildren, inspired by the example set by their mother and grandmother, began to volunteer at the center. They knew the importance of giving back and making the world a better place. The cycle of love and compassion continued, stronger than ever. As the years turned into decades, the village transformed into a thriving, close-knit community. Nana's children, now elders, looked out over the village from the porch of the community center, content in the knowledge that their mother's journey had changed their lives, and the lives of many others. On a peaceful afternoon, her eldest daughter, Amina, who had played such a key role in Nana's redemption, sat by the river where Nana had once sought solace. She closed her eyes, remembering all that Nana had taught her. The love, the forgiveness, and the strength to embrace change. Amina whispered a quiet prayer, asking the heavens to bless Nana's soul. Her heart swelled with gratitude for the lessons she had learned and the person Nana had become. Nana had been a force of change, and her ripple of kindness spread far beyond the village, touching lives that no one could have ever imagined. As the sun set on the village once more, the community gathered to celebrate the life of Nana, the woman who had started a journey of redemption and healing. The community center was filled with music, laughter, and the warmth of shared stories. Nana's children and grandchildren stood proudly at the front, telling the story of her transformation. Her legacy was not just in the wealth she had once sought, but in the lives she had changed and the love she had given. Nana had taught them all that true wealth comes not from material possessions, but from the connections we make, the forgiveness we offer, and the kindness we extend to others. As the village celebrated her life, the story of Nana continued to inspire everyone who heard it. The circle of life, just as it had for Nana, would carry forward the message of hope, redemption, and love for generations to come. And in the hearts of all who had known her, Nana's spirit would forever live on, a testament to the power of transformation and the lasting impact of a mother's love.